Prepare for years of mediocre economic growth, the message from the International Monetary Fund in its latest assessment.
Despite surprisingly resilient labour markets and strong consumer demand, despite the uplift in China, we expect the world economy to grow less than 3% this year.
IMF head Kristalina Georgieva managing expectations for its annual spring meetings beginning on April the 10th.
Even for the IMF, which frequently downgrades its growth forecasts, this is a fairly sobering outlook. It's the lowest medium-term outlook since 1990 and below the average global expansion of 3.8% for the past 20 years.
The signs have been there for months. Having initially forecast a booming 6.1% growth in 2022, the IMF almost halved that to 3.4% after the Russia-Ukraine conflict erupted amid a global inflation crisis. But if most Western economies are struggling, China and India between them will drive around half of global growth this year, expanding by around 6% and 5% respectively. The IMF says fighting inflation should be the priority for economies like the US, where it is proving entrenched.
This is the right course of action, so long as financial pressures remain limited.
The IMF expects central banks in those affected countries to keep raising interest rates to drive down inflation, despite the contribution they played in the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank last month, one of 3 to go bust. Owen, Fairclough, CGTN, Washington.